Hello, and welcome. My name is Danny Korcz, and I will be your host for this evening.
Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the feminism, eh? And oh, what's happened to your microphone? It sounds even more poltergeist possessed than the last time I did a response to your video. Speaking of which, it's time for round 2, bitches.
Round 2. Fight!
Here's a question for the viewers at home. Do you support the equality of the sexes, but do not want to give yourself the feminist label to do so?
Well, Danny, you see, that is most of the populations of our two countries, and indeed the West. Hell, maybe even the world. So, yeah, but still, I'm interested. Do go on.
If you're a pesky SJW, then I recommend exiting this video now, as this isn't for you.
Yeah, Danny, that would be preaching to the choir now, wouldn't it?
If you do advocate for the equality of the sexes, and refuse to identify with any actual label, however, then you're in the right place.
Yep, old Danny's gonna give you a label if you don't have one. If you don't want one, tough shit, you're getting a label.
The first thing you need to know is the concept of empathy. According to the dictionary definition, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. The fact of the matter is, people are suffering, and because we care about advocating for the rights of everyone, we need to ensure those who are oppressed are being advocated for.
A feminist lecturing us about empathy? Well, this gon' be good.
I bring this up because after you discover the concept of empathy, abandon this concept entirely by flushing it down a nearby toilet. Empathy should be treated like a one-way street.
Is it me, or do I feel like I'm in a cinema? Is anyone else getting that impression? Just wondering.
SJWs and feminists don't have it, so when a feminist is talking about her personal experience regarding something horrible that happened in her life, and is trying to serve as a shoulder to cry on for other people going through the same thing, completely ignore their points, and bring up the issues that men face in our daily lives to try to get empathy from the viewers.
I like how he's proving my argument for me. Yes, that's exactly what you people do, not what we do. You see, empathy is only a one-way street with you people, because the only people worthy of empathetic release and empathetic feelings are women. When we try to say, oh, what about the issues that these men are going through? Oh no, apparently that's not good enough. Apparently men don't have any issues. Men have all the rights, to quote Hannah Witten. I mean, it's not like we do this to people who are trying to talk about things that have happened to them in the past. That would be rude. What we're talking about is people who ideologically talk about these things and try to say it only happens to one gender when actually it happens to everyone. This is a human experience, a human problem, and it requires a human approach to the situation. Unless, of course, it's a thing that happens to one and not the other. But hey, apparently, to Christiosity, men's issues require an ungendered approach, so...
Note, after you bring up the issues that men face, such as prison rape and high suicide rates, don't actually propose any solutions to fix these problems, making the empathy feel all about you and your problems, but do it in a way that tricks your audience into thinking you actually care about male suffering.
And apparently we're the ones that are being unempathetic and only self-serving and just totally don't really care about these people. Now you see, we do offer solutions. You just ignore these solutions and pretend they don't exist for your argument, Danny. For example, male prison rape, or just rape in general, well, I'd argue we should get rid of these gendered ways that we deal with the crime and adopt a gender-neutral approach. But apparently that affects the women's for reasons, says feminists. And with male suicide rate, well, take male issues seriously. Give them an atmosphere where they can feel comfortable and safe talking about their issues, rather than telling them, oh, be open, and then say, oh, male tears, and then tell them not to be open because that's toxic masculinity, which doesn't come from us, that comes from you. Just wondering, Danny, just wondering. Again, apparently we're the ones that aren't empathetic and aren't sympathetic. Only the people that are mocking these issues are apparently the empathetic ones, and they're going to sort all these issues out, even though they haven't, even though they say they're going to, and say that they have done, or say there is no need to.
The next thing you need to know is base your opinions regarding feminism based on the actions of people you see in YouTube videos and what is shown on the news. This will be all the evidence you need to show your audience how toxic the feminist movement really is.
Yeah, because it's not like we don't expose the literature that they write or expose the laws that they have helped put into place, like the Duluth model or the Tender Years Doctrine, or showing the National Organization for Women being against shared parenthood and the Israeli feminists being against a gender-neutral version of rape laws. Yeah, I mean, just base all our arguments on people on YouTube and the internet. I mean, you know, it's not like they're not examples of when it goes wrong anyway, but they're like the only things we do. Again, ignoring all the shit, Danny, because it's not convenient.
A feminist tells you that feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men.
Fuck out of here! And get that camera out of my face!
Show them this clip and your audience will be eating from the palm of your hand.
You see, nobody has ever used that clip to show that feminism is not for equal rights. See, we can, again, mention National Organization for Women, the Israeli feminists, the fact that on the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, it has one definition that says it's just for the advocacy of women. Paraphrasing, but not necessarily rights. Plus, each and every feminist has a different interpretation, and not all of them, especially radfems, consider it to be a movement for where women should be equal to men. In fact, they probably think, a lot of them, that it should be women having more rights than men. Indeed, they already do, but whatever. You all have your different goals, don't you? We don't need to use that clip. That clip would be self-defeating, and that's why nobody has ever done it. We'll just point to the other stuff and show that the actions speak louder than the words in a dictionary that has no meaning, especially as, again, our most used counterpoint to that is, well, North Korea is a democratic republic. But it isn't actually, is it, in practice? God, Danny, you're just lying at this point. I mean, you'll be lying about me later, but oh, spoilers, people.
And do this to teenage girls from relatively small blogging channels, just calmly expressing their opinions.
You see, with you, it's always they're just calmly expressing their opinions. It's not like they're just spreading misinformation and lies, and maybe even some bigotry, because some of them are bigots against men, and hell, even women, if you think about it. But hey, you know what? That would be just too convenient for you. Instead, let's just show that they're poor, defenseless teenagers, even though a lot of them are in their 20s, but let's ignore that need Danny the White Knight to come and save them from the evil, nasty anti-feminists who just want to respond to their arguments. The evil bullies.
A bit off topic, but interrupting the feminist at a point convenient to you, a la Sargon of Akkad, will also be beneficial to your arguments while crippling the arguments of the feminist.
God, your mic quality is making it incredibly hard to understand a damn word you're saying, although, are you trying to say that we're using one particular feminist to crush all arguments? We're just using examples of particular ones that do discredit particular things that feminists say about themselves. But otherwise, we could just use your own arguments against you and also just use data and statistics and other stuff like that to prove points. We don't need to use Big Red all the time. I mean, she's a prime example of the lack of empathy and sympathy that you lot claim that we don't have. And Sargon doesn't use her as one example, but never mind. You clearly don't watch Sargon's videos, Danny, because if you did, you wouldn't be doing this.
While showing clips of feminists on the street being violent and dangerous will be enough to prove your point, you do need to remember that you're a rational, free-thinking skeptic who can make up your own opinions based on the evidence you find.
Well, that's what I do. When I hear that we apparently live in a rape culture, I look at the laws and I look at the cultural attitudes of rape, and I notice that 1, it's illegal. 2, the cultural attitude is if someone, particularly a man, is accused of a rape, the women, no matter if a trial has happened or not, is automatically believed. For example, UVA, Duke Lacrosse, Jackie from UVA, etc, etc. And the man is put through a public trial before he even goes through a proper trial. He is a rapist, and if he did it or not, and when he's proven to be innocent, well, that tag stays all around with him. And when I look at examples of patriarchy, because I keep being told I live in one, I look at myself and I don't have any power. I look at my family, they don't have any. I see female heads of state, not just now but in the past. I see strong women everywhere. I don't see women being legally discriminated against or privately discriminated against. I need proof of that. I see affirmative action for them and programs to get them into STEM fields, although in Norway I do see them trying to get more men into nursing, which I do applaud, but apparently that's an example of patriarchy. But I don't see it. That's being skeptically minded. You lot are told that it happens and you believe it. You take their bait, their brainwashing Kool-Aid, without even thinking about it. That's the difference between us and you.
So when it seems like a feminist brings up a valid point,
feminism means not just women, but everyone. No matter gender, skin color, religion, or sexual orientation, should be treated with the same kind of goddamn respect.
Prove how invalid their point is by showing statistics from biased news sources.
It's not like we have actual real-life examples of them advocating for the complete opposite, and it says so in their literature, and it says so in their own arguments, because then they'll go and contradict themselves in the same bloody videos, but hey, whatever, you know. We just show these counter-arguments with biased news sources. Whatever these biased news sources happen to be, I don't know.
I recommend using defenses like the wage gap and rape culture don't exist, and you should care about the women in the Middle East to land the finishing blow.
What I've noticed is, and I know a lot of people should be telling me to say this, but you're mocking our arguments, but you're not actually refuting them. I mean, seriously, you're using humour? Well, what I think is humour. I don't know if you could consider this humour. Not that I don't have a sense of humour, mind you, it's just don't think this is funny. You know, there's no real sense of timing here, and the jokes are flat, and as far as I'm aware, I'm about to flatline at any minute now, because this is just grating, but you've not actually refuted any of our points. You've never proven that rape culture and the wage gap exists, and I've not seen Western feminists trying to help women in the Middle East. I don't see you guys going on crazy, endless debates about Islam, like, say, egalitarians and Amarais have been doing on Twitter as we speak. I don't see that from you guys. Instead, you complain about us, and you complain about first world problems. That's what I see.
Use the evidence Christina Hoff Sommers presents to the table, while completely ignoring the fact that Christina Hoff Sommers is speaking from a right-wing think tank.
While you neglect to mention that she's a voting registered Democrat, and just because the think tank she works for is right-wing does not mean that the evidence that she brings forth to the table is somehow void, that somehow it's tainted, that somehow it's not right just because a right-wing think tank brought it out there. That's like me saying that if a think tank brings out some accurate statistics about rape, the fact that it might be a SJW thing, even if it gets it right, means it's somehow tainted. That's ridiculous. That's called bias. But hey, you know, we're the biased ones. We're the ones who use biased news sources. It's not like we try to use a variety of sources from a variety of different organisations of various ideologies to come to the truth of the matter, but hey, whatever.
To ensure intellectual honesty is maintained, I recommend linking to the original video in your description.
Oh wow, you're actually going to convince people that they're wrong and that we're right? That's a risk.
After you thoroughly debunk their video, your fans will head over to the feminist channel and mass downvote the video.
They downvoted the video! Oh my god!
Take into consideration, though, that if you link to the original video enough times, somebody will eventually call you out for harassing teenagers on the internet.
Now people, this is one of the big reasons why I'm responding to this video, because he's deciding he's going to spread lies about me, because you know, it's all about that intellectual honesty, isn't it, with Danny Korcz? Unless of course he's doing it. We've got to be honest, but not him. He's only honest when it suits him. Now, the video in question is my video called Ginger the Friendly Feminist, which by the way was a legit and honest title. I did think she was very friendly and very nice. Now, he claims that I sent loads of fans to downvote the video and to harass her, which couldn't be further from the truth. He thinks this because she disappeared from YouTube. But the thing is, as you can see here, my video was published on February 27th, 2016. In my sources is her video. And look, a disclaimer, be nice, because I thought she was very nice and did not deserve hate. I thought she was misinformed. That's all I thought. And yes, I did think that. That's me being honest. That's me complimenting her, but also criticising her for spouting silly things. And look at my downvotes, 131. Interesting. They couldn't have come from anywhere else, I wonder, Danny. Now let's look at Jess's video. June the 26th, 2015. Yet he would like you to think that I responded immediately and ran her off of YouTube and sent a load of hate her way, when in fact, she has more likes than dislikes, although it's a slightly less ratio than mine. There's not much of a difference. When I found the video, there was more dislikes than there were likes, and she had already disappeared because her video after that was the last one she ever did, and that was about the wage gap in the World Cup, the sports thing, which is all to do with sponsorships, not the fact they're female, but never mind. That also has more likes than dislikes. How I ran her off, how I sent a hate mob to run her off, I don't know, considering I never responded to her last video, and I didn't respond to her other video until several months later. Stop lying, Danny. Stop trying to create narratives. You're not going to do the same thing that Christy Winters and Michael Rollins are attempting to do to everybody else. It's interesting that he omits all of this information, people. Even though he has a screenshot of my video right there, he neglects to mention in my description it says be nice. He just doesn't bother to say, even though Mitch is trying to stop stuff like this from occurring, it still happened. And look, he disliked my video, so he's doing what he accuses me of doing. You bully, you evil bully, you hypocrite. And by the way, he claims she's a teenager. He claims to know her actual age. Well, why don't you tell us her actual age, mate? Tell us. And even then, what has that got to do with the argument? I'm 22. I'm barely out of my teens. I would never use my age as some kind of makeshift defense against people's arguments. By that logic, teachers should never question their students to try and get them to be better at debating and arguing. It's ridiculous. Age has nothing to do with their arguments and how good they are.
I have the perfect solution. Include a disclaimer both in the description of your video and the video itself, telling people not to bully and harass them just because you used their video as a source of reference.
See, you guys also source our videos. You sourced my video, and I seem to have got a lot of dislikes from that, because I don't remember it having all those dislikes before you touched that video, but then again, I could be wrong. Yet, you didn't put a disclaimer in there. I didn't see, I don't see Michael Rollins doing it, or Christy Winters doing it. No, we said we have to do it. Why do we have to do it? If you people are so consistent, and if you people are so interested in protecting people from bullying, why not, instead of mocking us for using disclaimers and saying, oh, it doesn't work when we try, do something about it then, rather than just smear people without any evidence?
But make your disclaimer be as vague and apathetic as possible to the person you're responding to the point where it's only about 5 seconds long.
Yeah, it's not like real life disclaimers are 5 seconds long, at the least. It's not like we should just make it like a whole intro when we've already got an intro. Jesus Christ, none of you are ever pleased. We put this in as a safety measure and it's never good enough. What are we supposed to do other than go on a campaign of anti-bullying, which, by the way, would be impossible because not all anti-feminists and anti-SJWs would even do it anyway, and also it's kind of logistically impossible to do so on YouTube. Plus, you guys wouldn't even consider getting involved with it. It's all about placating you lot, because you guys don't care about bullying. These people, you are not defending them because you like them or that you think they're being bullied. You're using them for your ideology. And that's the difference between me and you. I will defend people from both sides from bullying and false accusations. You guys? No.
If you say something to the effect of, please don't mass downvote, harass, or bully the person in the video. The video was created for comedic purposes while offering counterpoints to their claims. As it is a roast, some stuff may be taken out of context. I link to the source video so you can decide for yourself. If you go to the source video, I encourage you to watch it in its entirety before commenting or rating. Leaving nasty comments reflects poorly on me, you, and the community as a whole. Thank you.
This is what we do, Danny. This is what we do. We make this disclaimer, we put it up, and people can choose to read it or not read it, because people have agency. People can choose to go, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to read this and never do this ever again because they're right. And you know how they can do that if it's only on for 5 seconds? Pause the video. Or they don't have to read it. Because the thing is, we could just not use any sources, but then you'd complain. So what are we supposed to do? You can never be pleased.
It will make you look like you're almost on the feminist side, and your audience doesn't want that at all.
How including disclaimers in a video makes me look like I'm on somebody else's side is absurd. Korcz, you are an utter retard. You are genuinely stupid. Out of your mind if you think that's what we think and that's somehow a thing. What?
To keep up with what the feminist is up to, subscribe to her mainly out of spite, so that way you can mass downvote all her videos, some of which having nothing to do with feminism.
I'm not a troll. Why would I do that? That makes no sense. I do sub to feminists, yes. What's wrong with that? I'm sure you've subbed to some anti-feminists. I mean, you've done several videos on Undoomed. You must be subbed to him to keep track of him. What's wrong with doing that? Also, I don't downvote their videos, usually. I don't even watch them. I look at what's on my feed and sometimes I decide, yeah, maybe I will respond to this, or maybe no, I'll give it a pass. Sometimes it's not out of spite. Sometimes it's just, you know what, this person's interesting. Let's keep an eye on them, see what they do. And they do the same to us. I've been followed by Jenny McDermott, Laughing Witch, Dick Coughlin, although for different reasons, but never mind. Also, I think I was followed by Tyler Street as well, who was a bit weird, but never mind. You see, we do it to each other. There's nothing wrong with following each other. It's not necessarily out of spite.
Finally, jump on virtually every anti-feminist bandwagon as possible. Lacey Green makes a video regarding false rape statistics. Jump on that bandwagon. Milo Yiannopoulos gets banned from Twitter. Jump on that bandwagon. The new Ghostbusters movie with entirely female cast that ruined your childhood is doing well critically. Jump on that bandwagon. YouTube demonetizes videos that deals with controversial topics. Jump on that bandwagon and blame the SJWs for every one of those.
Oh wow, anti-SJWs respond to the same things because some things get insanely popular to respond to. That can be bandwagoning or it may not be bandwagoning. Who cares? They have the right to do that. They can do whatever they want. They can choose to not respond to that and respond to something else. And it's not like you guys do the exact same thing. I mean, how many feminists and social justice warriors responded to Bearing and made videos about him being a bully or Thunderfoot and all those other things that have happened over the years? See, apparently it's okay when you do it, but not when we do it. And when we call it out, you don't do it. Oh, Danny boy. Damn, Daniel.
Just ignore the fact that this demonetization is happening to those same SJWs as well when you respond to that last one.
Without trying to make me say things that I didn't say, SJW 101, we all know that you got demonetized, and...
Now that you're all set, you have what it takes to be a rational, free-thinking skeptic on YouTube.
This is what skepticism actually means to these people. It's a joke, but of course, these are people who listen and believe, don't forget.
Go out there and make those feminists know that they're in the wrong. Remember, your freedom of speech is on the line, and they want to take it away by disabling ratings and comments.
Name me one person who has said because people don't allow comments and stuff, and that somehow means that they're censoring us. No, you know damn well we're talking about the law and stuff that's happening in universities where people get banned from speaking, people get banned from even entering countries because of what they think. Safe spaces, trigger warnings, stuff like that. No, apparently it's just comment sections, yeah.
So, if they privatize or delete their videos and channels, that's one less cackling cunt for you to deal with.
You know why she deleted her channel, right? You know why Laughing Witch did that, right? Because one, it was exposed that not only is she a bully, but also she was fighting a case in court, and this was damaging her, or her internet activities, and also it was clear that her so-called charity thing for her workers was nothing but a front to pay those debts. That's why she ran away. Not because we bullied her, but because she herself was a bully after what she was doing to Thunderfoot, trying to get him fired, or even arrested because they called him a Nazi. And in the Czech Republic, that is illegal. It's illegal to be a Nazi. See, this is why we talk about free speech. But hey, whatever, just lie about what happened. It's not like I covered every single thing that happened at the time. No, Danny. Apparently we lie.
As a bonus point, respond to whatever feminist video you can think of, no matter how irrelevant the timing of your video is. These videos can include responding to videos that have been made after a person changed their mind about the issues, a response to a video made about 8 months ago, or for a new record, responding to a video that at the time was released over 3 years ago, and make your audience assume the video you're responding to was released just last week.
1. Mistakes can be made, and that's the atheist gamer who makes mistakes regularly. 2. Who cares if it was 8 months ago, it's the argument that matters. And 3. We don't try to pass it off like it was made ages ago. No, we don't take these videos and try to pass them off as very recent. We just don't.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to respond to a small vlogger calmly expressing their opinions and treat them like human scum for sharing the same label as a relatively violent bitch in this feminist cringe compilation I found on YouTube.
And apparently, audience numbers don't matter, says Professor Moriarty. Jesus Christ. Apparently we're the ones who use stereotypes against you. You hypocrite.
In all seriousness though guys, I made this video to reveal how toxic the anti-feminist community on YouTube really is. I've become disgusted by the anti-feminist community on YouTube, and to see several of these girls be forced to either privatize or delete their videos and accounts due to harassment and bullying is sickening. With that in mind, I'm Danny Korcz. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, and you're totally not white knighting because you like these people and you want to protect these people. No, you're doing it because of ideological reasons. You're trying to smear an entire group of people for your ideological reasons. That's why you cannot prove that we bullied or harassed these people. In fact, the examples that you showed completely defeat your argument, especially Laughing Witch, who deleted her channel because she was exposed as a bully and a con artist. And the rest of them, well, they just couldn't handle the heat. They could not handle criticism, and that's why I deleted them. You defeated your own argument. You showed that you were the unempathetic ones. That you were the unsympathetic ones, you are the bullies and the hypocrites. So yeah, good job in just putting up a mirror to yourselves. Until next time people, this has been Chiming Man 93. Like, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all later.